Corsa Sport is a system that's very near and dear to my heart, as it's one of the few that I've had the pleasure of installing on my personal S197, and honestly guys, I have no intentions of taking this one off anytime soon because it just sounds so darn good, especially when paired up with a set of catted long tubes and the corresponding X-pipe. But enough about my car, let's talk a little bit more about the sound clips that we just showed you guys at the top of this video. And for reference sake, the car we did use had stock manifolds or headers in place and just basically had the Corsa Sport Cat-Back rocking. And the sound is awesome, right? Just the right amount of bark in my personal opinion without being too loud or too over the top. So going to my patented and very much scientific wake the neighbor scale, I have the Corsa Sport coming in at a robust 4 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 to 1 wake the neighbor scale. Yeah, you're getting some volume here, guys. Don't get me wrong, this is not a quiet system, but at the same time, it's not gonna be nearly as loud and unruly as that Corsa Extreme or other 5 out of 5 systems out there. Now, if this is the first time you're checking out a Corsa exhaust system, then one thing you do need to be aware of is that yes, again, you are getting a good amount of volume out back, but inside the car, things are gonna remain extremely quiet thanks to the company's patented tech known as RSC, or Reflective Sound Cancellation. Now this just allows Corsa to punish those eardrums on the outside while still being able to carry on a conversation inside the car while cruising on the highway, and in my opinion, they are one of the best at doing so. But let's step away from the sound and talk a little bit more about that premium build that we mentioned at the top of this video, and you are definitely getting the good stuff here from Corsa. We're talking premium 304 grade stainless steel from tip to tip, including the 3-inch mandrel bent tubing, unique double helix X-pipe as they call this thing. Check that out, pretty cool stuff. Everything's gonna exit through the mufflers here that are incorporated into the system, and finally out of your beautiful 4-inch quad tips done up in black. Now speaking of those quads, this is a great time to remind you all that this system will bolt directly up to your 2018 and newer Mustang without active exhaust, along with any 2015 through 17 GT who may have installed that Roush rear valance or modified the rear bumper in order to fit those extra tips. Now price point will be right around $1,700 here, but with all that out of the way guys, what do you say we switch gears and talk briefly about the install? Again, really easy stuff here on the 18 and newer cars. Site's just automatically gonna bump this one up to a 2 out of 3 wrenches simply because you do have to do all of your work underneath the car. But without further ado, here is that walkthrough that we promised you, in addition to a quick tool breakdown.
Tools required for this installation: 3/8 drive with an extension, 13 and 15 millimeter socket, optional but extremely helpful, white lithium grease, exhaust hanger removal tool, and an impact. All right, to uninstall your factory exhaust, to start, we're going to work on these clamps. And this is going to be for the 2015 and newer owners. I have a 15 millimeter socket. We're just loosening up these clamps. All right, so I'm just gonna slide one of them back now, and then we can work on the exhaust in the back. All right, so just behind your rear differential, you're gonna have 2 hangers with 13 millimeter bolts. Let's go ahead and remove those now. All right, now we're actually gonna pop these hangers out and off. I'm just gonna put them to the side just like that. And then I'm gonna grab an extra set of hands and get this exhaust out of here. All right, so if you're working with a lift, you might need a friend for this next step. He's going to be at the front section of the exhaust. He's gonna grab that last clamp, slide it back towards me, releasing it from this front section of the exhaust. Then I'm gonna grab the tips back here and simultaneously push forward, releasing it from the exhaust hangers underneath this back bumper. So go ahead, Rob, with the clamp. And it's gonna drop down just like that. And I'm going to push it out of these hangers, and it's free. All right, so with the stock exhaust laid out on the ground, we are gonna need 2 things from it: those stock hangers and those stock clamps. So we're just gonna pull these hangers off. You can use a little bit of penetrating lubrication or white lithium grease to get them off a little easier. And then we'll just pull our old clamps off and transfer them back onto the car. All right, so what we're gonna do now is put back our factory clamps. I may have to just move them a little bit to get them to slide back on. And then after that, we're actually gonna put our adapters into them. These you definitely have to slide and twist to get them in there. And we'll get our 15mm and we'll tighten those back up. You're going to want to make sure those are nice and tight so you don't have any exhaust gas leaks. So now we're going to bring in our X-pipe and slide our clamps on it before we install it. Then we're going to bring it into place here, slip it over our couplers. Twist it around a little bit, make sure it seats all the way down. And slide your clamps over and tighten them up. Now we're going to tighten these up. Same 15mm socket. Just slide that back a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do is bring up one of our mufflers. We're going to start on the driver's side. Let's get our clamp in place. And then we're going to bring up the muffler, stick on our stock hanger, slide that on. Bring this hanger up to the rear here and just insert it. Slide it back as far as you can because you got to get this tailpipe into our X-pipe. So let's do that now. Bring it back, slide it on. Just sit like that. So let's get our clamp in place. So let's get our hanger in place here. Slide it in. Then we can get our final adjustment when we get that other muffler on there. All right, moving on to the passenger side muffler. Again, let's slide on that clamp. So with the clamp in place, let's go ahead and get the muffler into the hanger all the way back here. It just slides on. Then we can put our muffler tube onto our X-pipe. And then our hanger in place up there. So let's go ahead and bolt our hangers back down. So the next step we're going to do is tighten down our mufflers. The clamps back here, I'm going to hold it up with one hand over here, get my impact back on that nut. Let me get it on there first. I like to clock them about 90 degrees from the ground. I'm just going to start the clamp so it stays. Bring my muffler up. And tighten it up. We're going to do that on both sides now. And to top it all off, let's add our tips. Clamp first. We're just checking for fitment right now. Now it looks like we need to bring the muffler up just a little bit, and we can accomplish that by loosening that clamp we just tightened, pushing it up and tightening it even more. Let's go ahead and get this tip tightened up. 15mm socket on all these clamps. And with that, that's going to wrap up my install of the Corsa Sport Cat-Back exhaust with black tips. For all things Mustang, keep it here at AmericanMuscle.com.